Once upon a time, in a cozy little house tucked into the roots of a grand old tree, there lived a kind woman who longed for a child of her own. One sunny day, she went to a magical old lady who gave her a tiny barley seed, saying that if she planted it, she would have a daughter. Excited, the woman planted the seed, and soon a beautiful flower bloomed, with petals that opened to reveal a tiny girl, no bigger than a thumb. She was named Thumbelina. Thumbelina was sweet, with bright eyes and a gentle heart, and she lived happily in her little home, but soon her adventures began. One night, as she was drifting off to sleep, a little toad hopped into her room through the window, and with big, bulging eyes, he told her he had found the perfect bride for his son. Before she knew it, he whisked her away to his murky, damp home. Poor Thumbelina. She didn't want to marry a slimy toad. But then, with the help of a little fish, she bravely escaped and found herself floating down a shimmering rive, or on a leaf. The sun was warm and bright, and she felt free. But oh dear! It wasn't long before a charming but mischievous beetle spotted her, captivated by her beauty. He scooped her up and took her to his fancy beetle friends, who adored her and sang her praises. But despite the admiration, they didn't treat her well, and soon she realized she missed her home and her freedom. So, using her wit, she fled once more, managing to escape from her beetle captors. Thrust back into the wide world, she wandered through the grasses and fields, eventually stumbling into an enchanting flower garden. There, she met a lovely little mouse who took her in. The mouse invited her to live with her and even introduced her to her friend, a melancholic mole who fell in love with her at once. The mole was rich and had a cozy, dark home, but Thumbelina felt a little sad in the dark tunnels. Though the mole was kind, she yearned for sunlight and open skies. So, to the mouse's surprise but not at all to Thumbelina's, she decided to leave yet again. With all the heart of a little girl, she scampered into the sun, feeling the warm rays dance over her. On her journey, she met a wondrous, beautiful swallow. The bird was just about to head south for the winter, and Thumbelina, who was so tired of adventures, asked if she could go with him. "Oh, yes," said the swallow, and soon she was flying high over the fields, feeling the wind in her hair, her heart soaring with joy. The little swallow took her to a lovely meadow filled with colorful flowers, and as she fluttered among them, she met a charming little prince of the flowers, no bigger than she was, with a delicate crown of petals. The two felt an instant connection, as if they were meant to be together. They danced and twirled amid the blooms, telling stories and dreaming of a beautiful future. But one day, the swallow told Thumbelina it was time to return home. With a heavy heart, she said goodbye to her flower prince but promised him she'd always cherish their special moments. When she returned to her little home beneath the tree, she felt different, stronger, braver. But her heart still ached for her prince. As spring blossomed around her, she decided to take a journey back to the meadow. To her joy, the flower prince was waiting for her. He had missed her too, and together they laughed, danced, and sang, deciding to join their lives forever. They held hands made of silky petals, and Thumbelina, now a true princess of the flowers, had found not only love but her own place in the world, where she could be as sweet and bold as she had always dreamed. The sun set gloriously over the meadow, and as flowers sparkled in the fading light, the two of them celebrated their love in a beautiful, blossoming kingdom, living happily ever after, under the warm sun that had brought them together. And just like that, the little girl who once lived in a tiny house beneath a tree had found her forever home among the flowers, always surrounded by love and adventure.